All right, I'm recording. Okay, so like I said, I want people to know your story. I heard your story and I was like, so I joined the million dollar badass. I don't even know the name of the group.
We should all be millionaires.
There we go. Thank
There we
you.
go.
I joined the group and I was like, damn, what am I doing here? Right? I was like, I don't know that I belong here. I've been talking about a business for a long time and never actually did anything. And so now I'm like, I remember I was reading the post and I saw your post, or I think you commented on my post,
I
and I
can't
asked you,
remember. I can't remember the exact in like our first exchange. I can't
oh,
remember.
I saw your selfie. That's what it was.
Okay.
I saw your selfie with the leopard print and a hat, and I was like, who's this? And then I
Girl.
heard your story and I was like, what? So I want you to share with everyone your story. This is like really what I think, like I was telling you, it moved the needle for me and I think it'll move the needle for others. So tell us who you
Who?
are and your story.
All right, I'll just, hey y'all, I'll just get started. I am Monique, aka King Mo. I do identify as a king.
I
It's
love
just
it.
who I am, and I have for probably like 5, 6 years now. Oh, so this is kind of my story is actually multifaceted. It has multiple parts. I can't remember exactly what I shared in the group initially, but basically starting in 2011. So I'll just give you my backstory. I'm 43 years old, and I feel like I'm walking in like the primest time of my life. So I don't want people to get caught up on their age or where they're at right now, or even where they've been in regards to what they desire for themselves and what they desire for their life. Because what I'm living right now, I saw for myself 8 years ago. And
Wow.
it's been a hell of a road getting here, and I'm barely scratching the surface of what I've stepped into. But it's been an 8 year long road. But in 2011, basically, I had a hysterectomy. I had a full hysterectomy, and I was out of work for about 8 to 10 to 12 weeks. And before that time, I had a corporate job, married, big house, all the trappings of that American dream that I had bought. They had been selling me my whole life, and that I had bought all those trappings, and I still was not happy. I was miserable, actually. I was miserable to the point where I had made myself sick. Um, and then all the stress and everything related to the job I hated, the relationship that wasn't going anywhere, and then the lifestyle that just wasn't serving me had manifested into the illness. And I had the hysterectomy. I'm down on my back. I can't shop. I can't do all the things that I was doing to distract myself and fill those voids. I got to face myself. I got to face myself for the first time. I'm like, what's that, like 34, 33, 34 at the time? And I realized I'm not living, I'm just existing. So I'm laying there in that bed, I'm miserable. I can't do the things that I'm used to doing to dull that misery. And then something said to me, like, this cannot be your life. You cannot just be here to go to a job you hate, pay bills, and die. Like, that just can't be it. And something, the word purpose started rolling around in my head. I had never even thought about my purpose, like not in detail. I had only thought about the things that I wanted to do that I thought I should do. You know, those things that we've been conditioned and taught that we're supposed to do. Go to college, get the job, get married, buy the house, da 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 da. And I did that shit. And I still felt this huge void, and that there was no satisfaction there. So in that bed was where my mind got turning. It's like I started to think about my own happiness, because up until that point, I had thought that my ex-husband, notice I said ex, my ex-husband was responsible for my happiness. I thought that these things that I was buying, or these places that I was going, that was supposed to bring me the joy and the happiness that I wanted. Not realizing that my happiness came from me. You know, that was the first time that I took ownership. I let go of that victimhood. So about 8 years ago, I realized that even though I didn't know that I was playing the victim, I really was. And that was blocking like everything for me. So that's when mentally I started making my escape. I couldn't do shit laying in that bed. I couldn't go nowhere. So mentally I had to start making my escape. I had my laptop. I Googled the word purpose. A book came up. that changed and transformed my life forever. It's called The Purpose Driven Life. I didn't even read the whole book. It ended up not being my vibe, you know, but it set the tone and it set the discovery and it set that mindset for me. Like, hey, I'm here for a reason, and I'm gonna find out what that is. And I'm set to be happy in myself and in what I'm creating in my life. And this ain't it. So between 2011 and 2012, I left everything that you can imagine to start over. I left the husband, I left the lifestyle, I left the religion, and I eventually left a corporate career that I have been in nuclear engineering for like almost 14 years.
Wow.
Start over. Now, I know that everybody's transformation and transition doesn't need to be that dramatic, but it was in that moment where I just felt like I woke up and some things had to shift. For me to really exist, and for me to really live out my purpose, I had to let go of those things that were no longer serving me. I had to identify those things, and then I had to release them. Because some things I had been holding on for dear life just out of fear and out of lack. I had read the book, The Secret, and saw the movie, and that had got some things going in me too. I had learned about, I don't have to just accept things. I can co-create here, you know. And I started learning about my mindset, and I started really heavy getting into the personal development work of, at the time, you know, I wanted to be a better me. Now I'm realizing I wanted to be just more of myself. The things that I had suppressed, or I had, you know, told myself I couldn't have, or I couldn't do right now, just letting all those things go. So started a business, didn't know nothing. I had a dream and a camera. My ex-husband had bought me a camera one year for Christmas, and I had always been the girl with the camera I've been doing these shoots since I was a little kid, you know. But I got a camera and started a business, put all my money into the business, just not knowing. I didn't know what I was doing. I had a dream. And if you want to chime in anywhere and ask me questions or anything, because that'll help me, you know, the back and forth.
Okay.
I just had a dream and I did it. I did it with faith and foolishness. I swear I did. I had to have that foolishness because if I had known some of the challenges that I was going to be facing down the road, I may not have done it. But it's now hindsight, of course, it's been the best thing, even with the challenges. This life that I've created for myself feels good for me. It feels good to me. But started that business. I wanted to make women feel good. I wanted to capture their beauty, make them feel good, and show it to them. That's how my business started with my camera. I was doing makeover shoots. So a woman would come to me, maybe she wasn't feeling like her best self, or maybe she wanted to celebrate something that happened in her life. And we would do a full shoot, makeup, wardrobe, hair, location. I would make them feel like a model for a day. So I was giving these model for a day experiences, giving them their beauty back, giving them their power back. And in exchange, I was getting like filled up. My ego was like through the roof. Because at the time I'm separated, I'm going through a divorce, I've left everything. So I'm in this whole transitional stage. So this business is now feeding me. These women are feeding me. Like I'm living for these shoots because I'm living through them in these shoots. At this time, I was my heaviest. I was like 222 pounds, just thick. You know, I've eaten to dull the pain. So I had decided to leave. I had decided to leave everything, but it wasn't a picnic after I left. There was like a transitional period. You know, it was just a lot of that. Just because you leave an environment doesn't mean the mindset transition instantly. So there was a huge adjustment period. So I just threw myself into my work. I threw all my money, all my resources into building this business, but I didn't build a good foundation for that business. It looked beautiful on the outside, but on the inside, I was juggling this and robbing Peter to pay Paul and, you know, all those things. I built 3 studios on my own, refurbished them, remodeled them, and opened them with my money. Not the smartest thing to do when you're a small business owner.
Right, but you probably didn't have a choice, right?
I didn't know. I didn't have business. Now, there are things that I could have done, like hindsight. There are things that I could have done as far as funding, loans, building business credit, and all those things. The things that I know now, I didn't know that then. I just had a dream and a desire, and I was going to be a small business owner, and I was going to live the life of my dreams and be free. That's all I knew.
Wait, but so the photography was something that it was a passion of yours?
I have been doing it. I have been doing this probably since I was a teenager. I was always the girl with the camera. I worked in a store that developed film. You know, I had a little 110 camera. I would save my money, get my film developed. I would style my little cousins. I would force them to do photo shoots. I'm the oldest. I would do their hair, their makeup, their wardrobe, take them outside. They was not feeling it, but they have no choice. So this has been in, like, what I do now, it's been in me forever. Like, I've just been doing it forever. I just didn't realize that I could make this a career, or I could make this a passion, that it was part of my purpose. I thought I had to do the 9-to-5 thing, you know, because at one point, that's all I knew was that.
Corporate.
So long story short, I went through about 7 years of just up and down, being a small business owner, up and down, working on my mindset, working with all these coaches, but never really getting outside of myself. And I see that now. I never really got outside of myself, and then COVID hit. But prior to COVID hitting, I had took a full year. I had got so overwhelmed with business and just things not going the way that I had expected them. But one thing, I never gave up. Like, I always had my eye on the prize. I never gave up, but things did not go as planned all the time. So 2019, I was just over it. I felt like I was in survival mode. If you're a small business owner and you've been at it for a while, you understand that burnout. So 7 years of just the constant feast and famine and up and down, because I hadn't systematized my business. I hadn't really got in alignment with what I really wanted to do. I'm still focusing on those shoulds, things I should be doing versus what I wanted to do. Took a whole year off, traveled the world, and just reconnected with myself.
What did you do with the business when you took the year off?
I sat it down. I walked away from it for a full year, not realizing that had been my source of joy and excitement and so many things for years, that when I stepped away, I ended up going into a depression.
Oh.
It just snuck up on me. I didn't realize just how much of me was attached to my business. So when I walked away from it, I'm getting emotional. It was like walking away from a part of myself. And I didn't make that connection. So I have energy healers, I have therapists, I have a team. I call them my Avengers. I have a team of people. So I'm in my energy healer session, and she's asking me, and she was like, "You just seem a little bit off. I know you're taking this time off." And she was like, "You're depressed." Like, she made the connection. She's like, not depressed where you need medication and things like that, but it's situational, I guess.
Yeah.
And so I didn't realize at that time how much of me was actually attached to what I was doing. And that no matter what I did, I couldn't run from it. Yeah. Even though I took a year off, I never really left it, because I was still doing it, just not for money, you know?
Right.
I started doing something else for money for that year. I started working for my dad. My dad owns a business, so I transitioned to work into his business. But then I had this big plan of just taking a year off and healing, getting out of survival mode, getting into alignment, because I'm one of those woo spiritual people. And then COVID hit when I was like right in that in March. Here comes COVID out of the blue. But for me and where I'm at right now, is probably one of the best things, because it made me pause, it made me sit down, it made me really realign. And that's when I joined the group. That's when I got serious about doing things differently and leaning in even more and being even more of myself. Not just a projection of what I wanted my business to be, but just putting my whole self out there, bringing it, letting go of the ego, letting go of the judgment, and just showing up as me fully. And that's when things have started to shift miraculously. So I've gone from last year, like not even knowing what I was going to do with my business, to having a lot more clarity, starting to pivot to the online world, creating a whole course and a movement to help women. I'm still empowering women to love themselves and own their beauty and just walk in their power, just in a different way. I still do the personal branding shoots, but this course has just taken on a life of its own. I mean, it just really has, and that's where I'm at now. Now I'm setting myself up to live in Mexico for like almost 2 months, like, and work remotely. Like,
okay, tell us about the course. Like, how did you? So you went from, you had a brick and mortar photography studio, right?
Multiple. Mm-hmm.
Multiple ones. Okay. Then you
Mm-hmm.
felt the calling. I was talking to a woman recently she's got a, fabric company, or
Mm-hmm.
she's a manufacturing plant, and she's feeling the same way. I don't know if you know, I owned a laundromat.
I remember you talking about it. I
I
saw a
started,
post where you did about it. Yeah.
got into entrepreneurship, and I felt the same way. I don't know if it was 7 years in, but it was somewhere around there where I call it the 7-year itch.
That itch, girl.
Yeah, yeah. It was serving everybody else. It was no longer serving me.
That part, and it's like one of those things you felt obligated. Like I felt like I knew I had to
Obligated.
close because I felt obligated at that point. I
Right,
wasn't even truly in it at that point. I was
right.
just so overwhelmed and so over it. And the way that my business was set up at that time, I was serving the customer the way. I mean, I had it set up, the way that I wanted to do business, but ultimately it was up to them how things went as far as their photo shoots and their branding. And I felt like I was detached from that. I don't know. That part of it just wasn't sitting well with my spirit at that time. And I realized now it's because I was doing the shoulds. It was the
Right,
shoulds, not
right.
the things I really desired and wanted to do. But the course came about because I had been wanting to be global. It's been a dream of mine for probably since I was a kid, is to be global and have the freedom and luxury to travel the world as I see fit and earn money and interact with people and learn things. So I had always had this desire. I just thought that it was going to be my camera that got me there. So I had already limited myself. I knew I wanted to be global, but I was only thinking this one thing was going to get me there. So I had to release that. It's been a lot of releasing and unlearning over the past couple of years for me. And then the course came along because I knew I wanted to pivot to the online space so I didn't have to be location dependent. Everything's going online. Everybody's at home during COVID. So it was like a really, really pivotal time. Taking selfies is something that I have been doing personally since before selfies were a thing. I have selfies of me when I'm 43, y'all. I have selfies of me when I was 14. Like I would just take my little camera and turn it around like this. I ain't saying they was cute. They weren't cute, but there were selfies. So it's funny to be able to take something that I took for granted, like being able to take a picture of myself and loving it and posting it, and then being able to provide those skills and give someone else that empowerment to do that for themselves. Like it was a huge connect. I had been doing this through my photography, the beauty and the branding photography, but this gave me the opportunity to, number one, switch it online, reach more people, and do it in a way that's fun, where they don't even realize some of the time how they're building their confidence because they're having so much fun. And it sneaks up on them. Because my whole thing, the reason that I say it's a movement, because it's all about loving yourself more. It's all about having the confidence to put yourself out there, to take up space, to be more visible in your business, your brand, and your life, and ultimately be seen and heard. The women that I work with, or the women that take my course, some of them don't have businesses, some of them don't have platforms, but they feel invisible in their life, their real life. So this helps with that visibility in their life, their business, their hobbies, their communities, which I think is important right now for women to show up, be seen, be heard, and understand that your voice and your visibility matters. So that's at the core of it. That's what it is. It's a selfie course. It sounds like really simple and kind of vain, but it's not about showing out or being vain. It's about showing up. I want women to understand that they can show up no matter where they are at whatever point in their life. They can make a decision to show up.
Okay.
They can make a decision to live their life on their own terms. It may not be instantaneous, but it's something that you can be intentional about and work towards. And have fun while you're doing it, y'all.
It looks like fun. I can't wait to take the course.
It's
Okay.
a lot of fun.
Okay, so something that I'm working, so I came across the whole visibility thing recently too, right? Where I struggled with that. I started the laundromat in 2009. And from 2009, I was like, I want to go into the online space. I just didn't have the courage to do it. And then, so I started learning, and I was like, okay, there's marketing, there's this, there's that. And then I realized that I was afraid to be on video, right? I had a best friend growing up who was all about pictures, and the first time I met her, she was dressed like Madonna,
Oh, I
right?
feel like I would love her.
Yeah. You guys would totally get along. We were in 5th grade, right? I had on pigtails and like a dress, and here's this girl with like pink feather earrings. Yeah, I was like, wow. Well, I've never had like a voice in that respect, right? I never felt the need to take a picture of myself, and it just, I don't know. I was always like, yeah, I'll just stand in the corner. And then when I tried to take a picture, it was just awkward. It was just, and then I
And
realized,
that's the thing. I think a lot of it is because sometimes we don't even realize it's our conditioning, because
right,
somebody has told us, who you think you are, or like
exactly,
that kind of thing. So we have to we have to identify that first and get past it in order to embrace that bigness that really is already there. Like,
right,
I've seen it with you. I know you're talking about like in the past where you come from, but I'm
right,
looking at you now. So that shows your growth and not just the opportunity for growth that was there if you
right,
allow
right.
yourself and give yourself permission to step into it.
Right. Part of my journey has been allowing myself, even just giving myself permission to say, this is what I want.
And that's what I do for women. I'm here just in case someone can't give themselves permission. I am a permission giver.
Right.
That is what I do. I'm like, look, love yourself. Love your selfie.
Yeah.
Post your selfie. Embrace that. And it's not a matter of not caring about what people think. It's about valuing yourself more.
First, first, I was a flight attendant
Oh,
for almost
wow.
for almost 10 years, right? And I always say that I'm really stubborn, and I believe that God or like the universe made me a flight attendant for so long to get through my head the safety demo, the putting the oxygen mask on
Put your
your
own
chest.
mask on first. I'm telling you that you can apply that across the board. Y'all, that is not just meant for flights. That is meant for life. And that will
Right.
forever be my stance. If you
Yeah.
follow me on social media, if you know me in real life, anything, my stance is to put yourself first, because you can't pour from an empty cup. And
Right.
you're
Right.
teaching people how to treat you when you continuously don't make yourself a
Exactly.
priority.
Exactly. And my people, we do it all the time. My mom never took care of herself. Everything was for her kids, and
Same.
now look at her, and I just think like, I don't want to do that, right? And so
Mm-mm.
I fought through all these like cultural conditioning
It's
things.
real. Can we talk about that just for a moment?
Yeah.
Like, this is real. Women, so many times we're taught to be martyrs, and that
Right.
we have to sacrifice ourselves and lay ourselves down for our children and our family. Like, I get that too from my family, but I'm strong enough in myself to understand that what applies to them doesn't have to apply to me. And I can be the shining example that this doesn't have to be your life, for other family members, for friends, and for those people in my community, in my circle, and online. And I feel like that's a huge part of the reason why I'm here, is to help people shed that and help let that go, because it is so deeply ingrained in our culture.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I mean, Black, white, Hispanic, like wherever, US, East, Middle East, it's
Worldwide.
it's worldwide. It's like a patriarchal conditioning. Men don't apply these rules to themselves,
Right. Right.
but
Right.
they're forced upon us. And I just
Right.
refuse. I rebuke all of that. Y'all can have it all. Nope. Nope. I don't care what nobody say either. And in that part, I really don't care what people say, because that if I cared about what they said about me putting myself first, then what does that say about me? Basically prioritizing their thoughts over my own wellness. This is how I stay well, like,
And that's
period.
important.
It's hugely important. How can a woman, if you have a family, a husband, children, you're running a business, like, how can you not put yourself first and then feel like all these things are still going to run in the way that you want them to? They're
It's
not.
not going to happen.
It's
Yeah.
not going to happen.
Right.
You got to take care of you.
Right.
And then all those other things will fall into place.
My aha moment was the moment that I didn't think I could have children, right? So I had my first son, I was 39. And as soon as I found out I was pregnant, I sold the laundromat, right? I got married, And I was like, okay, I think I'm supposed to be a mom, right? My mom had been like, why can't you just get married and have kids, right? She had been saying that for years. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do that. And I was depressed too. I had my first son, and then a month later I turned 40.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, something's wrong, right? And I assumed it was postpartum,
Mm.
right? I assumed it was postpartum. I went from being a flight attendant, owning my own business, to now I was like a caged bird,
Oh,
right?
wow.
Home, trying to run a household. I was like,
Mhm.
what?
All this newness that people think is
Yeah.
supposed to be instinctual for us.
Right.
Like,
Exactly. It was supposed, like, I was supposed to want this, right? So I was
yeah.
like, what's wrong with me? And I finally realized I had to I call it a come to Jesus moment, where I'm like, no, actually, this is not what I want. I
Oh,
love
that's
my
good.
kids. I love my kids. I'm grateful that I was even able to have children. My husband's amazing, but it's not the life that I want to live,
And it
you
doesn't
know?
have to be all. A lot of people think because you have a home, because you have a family, because you have a husband, you're just supposed to be, that's supposed to be all. You are
Right,
allowed to desire more. You
right,
just are.
right.
Yeah.
But because of all the conditioning, right, it took me a long time to get.
Yeah.
But let me just tell you, once I got into the group and I was around women like you, there's so many women that are doing it, right? They're doing it. And it's not perfect. It's not,
Mm-mm.
like I met a girl.
Shed that. Anybody
Yeah,
watching, shed that image of perfection. Redefine your life for yourself. Like that should start. Like one thing that I did for myself back in 2011, I allowed myself to question everything that I had been taught and told, and then to redefine it for myself. And
mhm,
then to continue redefining it as I learn more, as I grow and evolve. You never have to stay stuck in one mindset. So just because you were doing one thing one way 5 years ago, don't obligate yourself to stay in that forever.
right,
Just don't.
right. I'm breaking free.
Yes,
And after
break
I heard your
yourself
story,
free.
I was like, people need to hear her story, right? And so I want you to tell us real quick about the course. Like, how did you come about it? How did you create it? Like, did you structure your course? Did you record your course and then launch it? Tell me about the inner workings
Whew,
of the
okay,
course.
so the course came about during the challenge. So in the group that we're in, there was a challenge to earn 10K in 10 days. Now I had earned $10,000 a month before in my business, but it was few and far between. And I hadn't been in business full time in over a year. So it was like, whew, so I'm not knowing what it's going to be, but I know I want to make it simple. I know I want to make it fun. I know I need to be in alignment with my mission to help women be visible and own their beauty and their power and walk in it and all these things. And I posted a question in the group, and it just got my wheels turning. I was like, I gave them all my skill sets that I use to make money. Personal branding photographer, makeup artist, and I love, personal development work. And then they came back with all these ideas, and I don't think anybody said selfie, but somebody did say, if I could learn to take a better picture of myself, that would make me feel blah, 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 blah. I'm like, bam. Like literally, I got the idea and I ran with it. So in 5 days, I created and launched the course. Like seriously, imperfect and all, y'all, completely imperfect. I had not a raggedy sales page, but a very basic sales page at the time, basic information, but I had passion and I had heart and I had purpose. And I put it out there. And I didn't even have the whole course written. Y'all, I sold an idea, just to be straight
Say
up with
that
you.
again, please. Say
I
it.
sold an idea that I was passionate about, that I knew that could help, that I knew that would help people. And it just took wings. Like I put it out there. I got support from other people. I
Okay,
put my
wait.
goal out
Let's
there.
not. You put it out there. Was that hard?
Yes. For me, it wasn't hard. But if I had been doing it 5 years ago, it's just because I've been doing this for so long. I wouldn't say that I was actually ready to pull the trigger when I did, but I was like, you know what? I'd rather have progress than perfection.
Yes.
And then I can go back and correct things and course correct and all those things. Let me just get it out there. And it was so well received when I put it out there. I just decided to ride that wave.
That's awesome.
And
That's
then the course
awesome.
didn't start for about 3 weeks. So I had 3 weeks to get my mind right, to get things in order, to get, after because it was pre-sale,
Mhm.
and then when the course started, it just took on this magical life of its own. It really did. Honestly, guys, I'm just going to be straight up with you. Because this is my wheelhouse, because this is my zone of genius, I had nothing other than the outline written when I started. Every week that I went live, I spoke from my heart. I spoke from the tools that I knew that I could share that would help. And I just broke them down into modules. And the ladies picked it up and they ran with it so fast. Like literally, I had everybody take a baseline selfie. Like when they first start and tell me the things that, their challenges or what they didn't like. And you should have saw these selfies. Within the first 2 modules, we got models in the group. The model.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Awesome. And then I continue to challenge them. I continue to challenge them to be more visible, and to be more of themselves in their images. And what I told them, I was like, I don't want you to think that every image that you post has to be styled or has to be perfect. No, we don't want that. We're not doing that. But I do want them to feel good to you. But mix them up on your timeline, mix them up in your marketing. Like I'm glam all day because I like makeup. I'm a makeup artist. I like to be extra. That is what I do. But I also like to be regular as hell with no makeup. And I'm fine either way.
Right.
I'm fine
right.
either way. So I want women to have that ownership either way. Yeah, I just want it to feel good to them. That's all.
That's amazing. I'm in another little group, like a mastermind pod. And that right there, where you were saying that you had the bones to the course first, right? I heard another woman in our group say that, and I was like, wait, what?
I'm telling you, you don't need the whole thing, because what's going to happen? My coach had been telling me this for years. All she said was, I told you so. Because I never would do it. I would never put myself out there like this before, without not having like everything in place and this huge plan or whatever. But I realized that was only stopping myself, and I was only like, stifling my growth doing it that way, because I was coming from my passion, because I was in alignment, and because I'm speaking in my complete zone of genius. I did not have to have everything planned out. It just didn't have to go that way. And plus, your students are going to be your teachers. If you're creating these online courses, they're going to tell you what they need probably within the first 2 weeks. And then you have the room to adjust and add or take out, because you haven't overpacked it and overplanned it. I feel like you need that room for fluidity. You need that room for growth, because they're going to tell you what they need,
I know that you're going to inspire at least one person to do it, to take the jump.
I really hope so.
I know. Okay.
And you're going to learn along the way. You're going to learn along the way. That's one of my biggest takeaways from this, is the learning along the way. And that permission that you give yourself to not do everything perfectly.
Yeah.
Like that's where you get your biggest nuggets. From those moments where you have to course correct, or you get an aha, or something leads you to this. Leave room for that. Really, leave room for that.
Okay. Oh man, yay! Okay. Tell everyone where they can find you.
Okay, you can. Okay, my Instagram name is kind of long. It's reinvention _with_intention, or you can type in Monique Floyd. You can also go to moniquefloyd.com. All the information for my Selfie course is there. All the other information on how you can work with me is there. I do personal branding photo shoots, and I'm going to be doing virtual shoot prep, because a lot of the ladies in the group, they want to start getting ready for their photo shoots, but I can't get to them. And maybe their photographer isn't full service, because my photography studio is full service. We help you with everything from your messaging to your stories, your wardrobe, everything. So now I can offer that to women across the globe and just work with them one-on-one to get them ready for their shoot. So when they show up on that day, they're confident and they own it and they're themselves. If I can't stress anything else to anybody else, your takeaway, be yourself, even more of yourself. I have found the magic in my attraction factor. It's just being my damn self. That's it. So that's where you can find me, guys. I say a lot. I get off track.
No, but that makes you you, and you have this unique energy. I don't know. I love it. We've never met in person, but the moment I saw your picture, I was like, you know, we're gonna be friends.
Like, I love it. And I do have that about me. And I didn't honor it for a long time, though. I blocked it for
Right,
years. It was protection. I blocked it.
right.
Once I started living in my light and my truth and just all of myself, my dark side, my light side, like all of that, I swear, shit just shifted.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Thank you
God,
for your
I
time.
thank you for doing this. We had a rough start, but I'm so glad that you stuck with me. And I can't wait to take your course, and I can't wait to talk more. I feel like we need to
Yes,
keep
I would
talking.
love to have you on. I do a lot. I started so from the course,
Mhm.
things have spawned. I started a series on Instagram where I interview people to give them just to chit chat, and I call it the Love Your Selfie series. And I bring different
That's
people
awesome.
on, and we talk about different ways to love on yourself and to be more confident in yourself, from your business to your personal life to your beauty life to your wellness to your time.
That's
So I would
awesome.
love to have you come on. I'll be
Yes,
interviewing from Mexico probably, you know, but you know.
I love it. I love it. Monique, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. All hail the king.
Welcome. Well, look, there's my crown back there, y'all. I keep a crown back there
I
as
see.
a reminder.
Oh, God.
Okay.
All right. I know you got to go. I don't want to keep up any more of your time, but thank you so much, Monique. I really appreciate it.
You are more than welcome. Thank you for doing this. I'm so glad to see you out here
Yeah.
shining, taking up
Blushing.
space, owning all your gifts, like, and doing it in a way that works for you, in a way that feels good for you. So never lose sight of that. Doesn't have to be perfect. Like the way today started, we had all kind of hiccups, but it worked out just fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You are more than welcome, lady. Good luck with everything.
Thank you. We'll talk soon.
I'll see you in the group.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
Monique.